Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Gemini in February 2020. Hello, Gemini. How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, guys, off the top, happy Valentine's Day. If you're in love and you're blissfully happy, yay. I more power to you. I wish the best for you. If you are single like a Pringle and you don't want love in your life, I applaud you as well. Whatever you're doing on Valentine's Day to celebrate or protest, whatever you're doing, I hope you're happy. I hope you feel loved. I hope you feel some level of contentment and joy in your life, because that is the bigger message for me. I've decided going forward in my life, that is the bigger message for Valentine's Day. So that's what I'm going to wish to you guys and everybody who's watching. If you're a cross watcher, same message to you, my friend. Okay, Gemini. I have shuffled off camera. That is your main spread there. I will shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that's when the reading begins. The timestamp is in the description box if you choose to jump ahead. Also down there is all the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. You send me an email, you pay me through PayPal, I say okay, you get the private uplink here on YouTube, and that is how we do it. But if you do have another question or you're unsure of how that actually works, you can email me at the same address that you find in the description box, and I'll answer you as soon as I can. And remember, guys, liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting, all that fun stuff helps support the channel. If you're not going to do donations or order any personal readings, just interacting with the channel really helps me out here in the YouTube jungle of tarot readers, okay? All right, guys, let's get into it. Let me see Gemini's outcome for February 2020. Gemini's outcome for February 2020. Let's go. Yeah. Yes, bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Okay, guys, let's see what came face down for you. Okay. Oh, and the outcome as well was face down. All right, friends. Interesting. Oh, Gemini, you're going to give me like a mixed bag today. I kind of feel it, don't I? Yes, I feel it. All right, friends, let's figure it out together, shall we? Please show me where Gemini is in February 2020. Please show, I'm saying that like I'm Barbara Walters. Please show me where Gemini is in 2020. Gemini February 2020, please show me. All right, there we go. All right, Gemini, coming into February 2020, you come in with the Eight of Cups. So some of you are not feeling the love in February, and that's not strictly to do with romantic love or anything I was saying about Valentine's Day, but just the general interpretation that we get with the Eight of Cups is about emotional discontentment. It's about, you know, feeling more than bored, but in some of your cases, boredom is there. But feeling just out of sync with whatever you're doing in terms of what gives you emotional fulfillment, what makes you happy, what puts a smile on your face, what makes your heart sing with joy, what makes you happy to get up in the morning and face the day. Like there's something where like the gas tank is empty and there's really no drive or no pull for you to be excited about much. In other cases, the Eight of Cups can talk about certain, I don't want to say loss, but like a fizzling out, or like a dimming down, or like a fire dies, you know, and there's nothing left to rekindle that fire. There's nothing left to restart that fire. So it's losing interest. It's lackluster. It's discontentment and feeling as if you're not fulfilled. Yeah. So the other part of the Eight of Cups for you, Gemini, is journeying on and trying to find something that'll light your fire again, trying to find a situation, a relationship, a connection, a hobby, trying to accomplish something on a personal level, whatever it is. I'm looking for that thing that's, or that person that's going to put a spark back in my life, or put a spark back in my heart, you know, something like that. Apes, oh my god. Eight of Cups, apes. I mean, maybe some of you guys like apes, I don't know. Maybe you need to like take a trip to the zoo and just like, you know, sketch the gorillas or something like that. I don't know. But the Eight of Cups also talks about, or excuse me, since we're dealing with cups, we're talking about, you know, your emotions, how you feel about a situation. So if I'm honest, Gemini, and this is a general, guys, it can go vice versa. It can flip-flop, you know, can be you for 2 seconds and then it's someone else you're dealing with. So, you know, please don't take all of this to heart. But it really feels like a downtrodden energy. It's almost defeatist. And that's for a smaller group of you. I think in general, Geminis don't tend to lack optimism. Most that I've met, most that I know, tend to usually, you know, not see the brighter side of things, but they don't stay down very long. It takes a lot to get a Gemini down, in my opinion. But there's a few of you where this is like a very downtrodden energy because you've gone through something very difficult, or you're coming to this realization that you've kind of been going through the motions in your life, in certain situations and relationships and circumstances, and you're just like realizing, I've been walking around like a hollow husk of a person, like a shell of a person. I'm not actually enjoying my life. I'm not enjoying my work. I'm not enjoying this relationship. I'm actually just doing it to, you know, pay my bills. I'm doing it because this person is in love with me, but I'm not in love with them. It's all kinds of realizations that you're having. So for, you know, maybe like 20%, 25% of what I'm feeling, this feels like, very sad. Okay. But the other 70 to 75% feels like sad for now. And eventually, you know, like any other sign or any other human being on earth, Gemini, you know, you're in the blues right now. You're in the downturn of something. And that's natural. We all go through that, right? So not the nicest place to start, but it feels honest. I'll say that. It feels very honest. It feels as though, like I said, some of you are having this realization. Some of you are owning and accepting that you've gone on far too long in a situation, or you've been doing it to placate others, or you've been doing it because, you know, you've been conditioned into it. Like, you know, a solid job. I'm supposed to do this. It fulfills me, or it provides, you know, shelter and food and all this other kind of stuff. But like the work is so like hollow. The work is not fulfilling to you. You actually possibly hate your job. You know what I mean? So some of you are really coming to these honest realizations, and I applaud you for that, because you could continue walking around like a freaking zombie and just, you know, going through the motions. But if you snap yourself out of it and you take a look at yourself, that's the other thing about the Eight of Cups, you take a look at your surroundings, or you take an inventory of what's going on in your life, and you really, you know, say, okay, this is not satisfactory. I can't do this. You know, there's something about the Eight of Cups that says I can't do this, and it is, unfortunately, for some of you, or potential cross watchers, it is this tendency to walk away from, to make moves and effort and be concentrated on how to alleviate this not so nice energy. You know, the Eight of Cups is very much, in most cases, or most of the time when we see it in tarot, it's not about wallowing. It's not about staying in dissatisfactory, or excuse me, unsatisfactory situations. It's about moving out of them. Okay. So if that doesn't sound great to you, Gemini, or the cross watcher, c'est la vie, my friends. Okay. So what else happens? Yeah, man, you're going. Good for you. You're going, or whoever's going is going. And it's very positive. It feels like. Yeah, because it's been oh man, I knew it, Gemini. You're going to have this very emotionally complex reading. And you're only the third sign I'm doing, but, you know, you're right on track with Aries and Taurus. So anyway, so you move on. Thank you. Two of Wands. Now this is the action, you know. Wands indicate physical movement, dynamic energy, how we actually turn what is going on in our internal spaces, our head, our heart, what we're reflecting on, and we actually put some legs up under it. So with the Two of Wands, I see some of you are coming to a decision point with the Two of Wands, right? You're choosing your next path. And most of you are choosing to just not stay where you are, and you're, you know, kind of on an exit ramp. You know what I mean? If you're traveling down the highway, you've been cruising down the highway for the last, you know, several months or years of your life, you're like, you know what? It's time for me to get off this highway. I'm not going to continue to journey on this road. I'm going to take another road. So it's in many of your cases, not all, but in many of your cases, it's not even a choice between two. It's just a choice between being stationary or stuck versus being in motion and changing your circumstances. So I applaud the progress. However, I feel as though, again, that someone is listening, cross-watcher or Gemini themselves, who's watching their own reading, but you're hearing about the other person. That doesn't sound great. Someone doesn't want this departure to happen, this exit rant to happen. Somebody doesn't want, you know, there to be two choices. Somebody wants something to stay the same. And another person is just like, it can't stay the same. So I'm not calling this a breakup for those who are in a romantic situation, you know, because I'm not feeling this is purely romantic. I'm feeling this more being Gemini is, it's very, I would, in some ways it's sudden. Okay, thank you. It feels like Gemini has repressed this for a long time. And now that Gemini has decided or has come into this understanding of how they feel about a situation, how they feel about their circumstances, how they feel about a relationship, now things will move quickly. And maybe that's like the bummer here is it's not that you're changing the situation or that you're wanting to change or that you're wanting to make new choices or that you're wanting to get off on the off ramp. It's that it happens very quickly and it catches you or someone else off guard. That's what this feels like. Now, more to the point with the Two of Wands. Is he holding that? It's more like a timepiece. And he looks very somber. So I hope you're going to be able to see this because the camera sometimes doesn't want to focus. Like right now. Look how horrible that is. There we go. Oh, come on. Okay. It's like I got to block it out. The entire background. Oh my god. Please. There. For like 2 seconds. Hopefully you can see this guy's face. He doesn't look super happy to be making this decision. It's very melancholy. It's very like bittersweet. And yeah, it's like there's determination. There's a focus on the future. There's a focus on the possibilities. There's a focus on which path to choose next or where to turn next. However, there is a somber feeling of, but look what I'm giving up, or look what I have to leave behind, or look who I have to leave behind. And so there is like this remorseful energy, a little bit, okay? In general, I think it's a little bit more bittersweet melancholy, but in very few cases, there's actual remorse. Like, I wish it didn't have to go this way. So I don't know who needs to hear that for validation, but in some small cases, there's like a deep remorse. Because if I'm honest, contextually, this feels like, whether it's you or someone else, Gemini, it feels like someone is almost insulted or, like I said, taken by surprise, caught off guard. And, you know, in my experience, when a Gemini has made up their mind, it seems sudden, but it's actually not. Unlike the other two air signs, I have to say I find Geminis don't express... Here we go. If you're in a significant relationship with a Gemini, or you, Gemini, are in a significant relationship, I feel as though many Geminis will talk to friends and family before they talk to the person they're in partnership with. Or, you know, if it's a friend, you'll talk to your family first. Or if it's your brother, you'll talk to your cousin about, you know, you won't go to the person directly until you've made a decision. Does that make sense? So while you're thinking about and going over things in your head and you're being kind of, you're really oscillating. You're really going back and forth between what you want to do, how you feel, what does this mean? If I take this choice, what does it mean if I do that? What are the repercussions? What are the consequences? How are they going to feel? How am I going to feel? All the questions that you ask yourself. And if you do have a dialogue with someone, in my experience, and please, you know, this is not gospel. This is not like, you know, 100%, you know, certified truth, but it feels like whoever I'm connecting to, whoever you're involved with, family member, lover, friend, it doesn't matter. They really are caught off guard because they're the last to know. There we go. They are the last one to know. Everybody else kind of knew or was getting the inside track or was, you know, given up some details to, right? But the person who might be directly affected, your children, your spouse, your best friend, your business partner, whoever, like they are the last to figure this out, or you're the last, or they're the last person that you tell. And that is why this stings so bad. And that is why, as much as I feel this is a resolute, determined energy, the Two of Wands, again, I'm feeling this energy of, you know, I'm sorry it had to be this way. I don't want to do it like, you know, I'm sorry. Like what I'm getting is like someone is going to be apologizing for being a jackass, for being an asshole. You know, I should have told you sooner, or someone says, I wish you told me sooner, Gemini, or vice versa. It doesn't matter, you know? And there's this acknowledgement of, yeah, I probably should have said something sooner, but that is like immaterial, really. It's kind of regardless, because Gemini, like I said, is resolute. Like all air signs, masculine energy, right? Once the decision is made, it's kind of done. Like there isn't really any recourse to go backwards, to fix a thing, to change their mind, to change their opinion, because they've spent so long already debating it. They've spent so long in counsel and asking other people's opinions or getting feedback from other people, right? And that's where, again, it feels like a slap in the face to the person it's going to impact the most. Because I'm your partner, I'm your girlfriend, boyfriend, I'm your child, I'm your best friend. Why would you talk to all these other people about what's going on between us? Why would you ask the opinion of all these other people, knowing that what you decided was going to impact me as well? Why wouldn't you include me in this? That's what this feels like. And, you know, I don't understand the logic per se, but like that has been my experience and observation with Geminis. Is like, they're going to make decisions away from you, and then they'll come back and tell you what they've done. Okay? Ha! Guys. Oh man, I'm sure I've said it in one of your videos in the past. If you've been with me for a while, I work in this room. It's a pretty plain room in here, and I usually am looking across the room at this very blank wall that has like windows there, but like the shades are drawn, so I can't see anything. There's like a plant. Like that's the most visible thing in this room, is this plant. And I look at the plant sometimes, or I look up in the corner. So I'm just talking, and I'm just like, why am I saying these things? And then I look down, and I'm like, oh, well, this is why I was saying all that. Judgment. Major Arcana, or excuse me, secondary Major Arcana for Scorpio. So some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio, but you don't have to be. Judgment. Gemini, or whoever Gemini is involved with, has made a judgment call, okay? Judgment is about endings, sure. The finality of certain situations, yes. It can be about revivals as well. So in this case, maybe, to get it a little bit away from being specifically about dealings with other people, because some of you are not, you know, breaking up your families, you're not breaking up from friends or loved ones, or, you know, boyfriends or girlfriends or anything like that, but you are ending certain paths in your life. Like I said, you're getting off on an exit ramp, right? So again, going back to the people that they are in a job, you're in a job and you hate it, or you're in a job and there are no prospects, there's nowhere else to go, there's no more ladder to climb, and you've kind of tapped out. So this could be the revival, or sort of burying and getting rid of, or putting on the back burner, working, and maybe going back to school. Just an example for some of you. Because I don't want to make this relationship heavy, because I honestly, I can feel that's not even like the majority of people I'm talking about relationships. Or excuse me, talking about relationships doesn't apply to most of you. I feel that many of you, this is about your career and finances a little bit. If not that, then it's about personal development and just overall happiness and contentment about your life. Because remember, we're restarted in the Eight of Cups. Cups, again, emotional fulfillment can talk about more than just romantic love. Are you happy in your job? Are you happy with your social life? Maybe some of you are realizing you're hanging around a bunch of douchebags and you hate not that you hate them, but you realize you're hanging around bad people, or you're hanging around people who don't enrich your life, who don't support you, who don't share your common interests. You're over here watching a tarot reading on YouTube and your friends are looking at you like you've got 6 heads. You know, I'm not saying, you know, toss them out. I believe you should have friends of all different types, but you're having, in some of your cases, you're having problems connecting with people that you call your friends. And that's a struggle for everybody, not just Geminis. That's a struggle of the times. Finding genuine connections with other human beings in this digital social media age that we're in, where we are heavily reliant on technology. I know I'm you know, sounding a little hypocritical because I'm recording this on a piece of technology. I am uploading it to social media, and you are now indulging in it through social media, through technology. I get it. But my point is, that is a universal struggle almost for a good portion of people is actually making meaningful and substantive relationships with other people just as friends. So you might be deciding, you know, the people that I call my friends are not really my friends for whatever reason. Your common interests aren't that much. You don't spend much time together. When you do spend time together, maybe one of your friends is like, you know, a financial leech and they never have money and you're always covering dinner for them. You're always buying drinks for them, whatever it is. So your judgment, thank you, because I got to get off of this tangent. So your judgment call goes into effect, Gemini. Whatever you're deciding to do, you have decided it off on the sidelines in council with other people who are not the central players alongside you. And it's donezo. I got to tell you, it's donezo. If it's not done, it will be, oh my God, almost chipped my nail there. If it's not donezo, if it's not completely deaded, what you would be doing is restructuring it, or what do you call that? Editing, not editing, rewriting, thank you. You're like rewriting it. You know, it's like Moses coming back down from seeing the burning bush with the 10 commandments in his hand. I'm not saying this is what you're doing. I'm not calling you, you know, a religious figure or anything like that. But it's like that. It's like I've gone away for a while. I was thinking about some things. And now that I'm back, here are the new rules, or here are the things that I want to see in my life. And I like it for you, Gemini, because let me tell you, I don't recall all of your readings, but I do recall feeling for Geminis, as an empathic person would. I remember feeling you were doing things on a surface level, participating, showing that you were happy, reveling in your successes, as one should. But I was feeling, over the past few months, going back into 2019, obviously, there was a deep sorrow, discontentment. There was a total disconnect with what you were doing on the surface, what you were doing on the outside, with what you were doing on the inside. And now I feel that's coming to the surface. And it's going to shake things up for you and for other people. Yes. Is that right? No. Hold on. That's confusing. Clear that up. What does that mean? Okay, thank you. Because I was like, that's not. Okay. I'm avoidant of that. Like, I felt that was the natural progression, but here's what's going on, and here's what I'm talking to my guides about. I felt the natural progression was to talk about the devil next, and they're like, avoid it, avoid it, avoid it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I personally don't have a problem with it. And then I'm like, so tell me what of the remaining are we going to go to next? They're like, go to the Page of Wands. I was like, okay. But then I was just like, but that doesn't feel like a good transition. There's a message in here about that. If you know anything about the tarot, if you have any inclination or any natural hits of your own of what the devil card is and how I am basically skipping over it, okay? I'm skipping over it. I'm acknowledging it. I see it's here. We're talking about it a little bit, but I'm going to skip over it for now. I think there's a message in there for somebody. Now, with the Page of Wands energy, again, this is kind of illustrating and signaling to movement. Pages, some of you might be moving. Like, the Two of Wands shows action, the Judgment shows decisiveness, and the Page of Wands is, if not actual movement, it's like that brainstorming phase of before you actually make moves, before you actually take action, okay? If there isn't a lot of movement, you're in the planning stages of that movement, okay? Page of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Some of you could be dealing with fire signs, but you don't have to be. Very Yeah, with that monocle or that spyglass eye on the page's head there, it feels as though definitely, Gemini, you've been spying. This is not a spy card. The spy card is more the Page of Swords, but you've been eyeing up potential, more than changes, just potential, growth. There we go. Potential spaces in your life for growth, spaces in your life to improve upon. Now they're like giving me like health and wellness, but more specifically spiritual health and wellness for many of you. Oh, okay. Some of you are going back to church, or you're getting into some type of regular practice, prayer, meditation, journaling. Some of you are getting into some type of fitness routine, something like that. Because, there's a connectivity there. There's a K. Thank you, because they're like, remember what you just said. Remember what I just said about how I was remembering the readings I was doing for you back in 2019, where there was a lot of surface success, a lot of happiness on the surface, a lot of, going through the motions. I got a promotion. Yay. I got a bonus. Yay. I got a new relationship. Yay. I got engaged. Yay. But I'm telling you what I felt. And if you've been here and you watch those previous readings, you might recall that stuff too, where inside that was not the case. This Page of Wands wants to reconcile that, wants to match the surface with the internal. External meet internal, right? Let's get both of these sides of Gemini, both of these experiences, both of these headspaces on the same page. I do want to be happy. I do want to be fulfilled and contented. And I do want to feel proud of what I'm doing with my work. Or I do want to feel like I'm totally in love with my fiance. But that is not the truth that we have recognized, right? You're recognizing it. And you're telling people it's not the truth. Or you're wanting to rewrite the circumstances that you're in, or completely dead them. In the case of deading something, putting it into the ground and burying it, the thing about the Judgment card is that it also, like I said, talks about revivals. So you could dead something and then immediately revive it. What do I mean? You could say to your business partner, or you could say to someone significant in your life, listen, the way that we've been relating to each other, it doesn't vibe with me. It's not, I haven't been my true self. And maybe that's what you're deading. Maybe you're deading that false side of yourself. The side that was smiling into the camera, smiling on Instagram and Facebook, putting all these positive affirmations up on your Twitter account or whatever. When on the inside, you were dead as fuck. So that could be what you're burying. The despondent, desperately disconnected part of yourself. So again, this page is giving me this boost or this emphasis or this focus towards your health and wellness. Again, exercise, new diet, maybe going in and doing some type of counseling, whether that be one-on-one, whether that be group sessions, whether that be online. A lot of services are online these days where you can talk to a therapist or a counselor, like through Skype calls, whatever you're doing. This page is... number one, this page is looking down to the ground, so I don't know how fired up they are. But I do feel, again, in combination with the Eight of Cups and the Two of Wands, a lot of determination to get it right. A lot of determination to turn the situation around, or to turn yourself around. To stop being a sad sack. No offense with that phrasing, but it's like you're realizing I was bullshitting. I was feigning how happy I was. I was feigning and faking the pleasure that I was, allegedly having in this experience. Yeah? You're getting real with yourself, and you're getting real with other people. And yes, that's why it's last. I see it. Okay, thank you. So, it's last, right? Yes, it's last. Thank you. So, Page of Wands. That's that. I'm thinking of how can I, start to make these changes. So you schedule appointments. You go, throw all the junk food out from your cabinets, and you hit up the market. You buy a bunch of kale. you know, a lot of almond milk, whatever. You start to lay the seeds or lay the groundwork to improve on what you're doing. It's a heartfelt action with the Knight of Cups right beneath it, right? Knight of Cups, water sign energy. Why is that pinching my skin? Water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Could be dealing with water sign, but you don't have to be. It's heartfelt action. In some of your cases, as you make this transition, Gemini, you might have to apologize. Like some of you maybe, thank you, maybe during your discontentment and you're realizing that, hey, I've been kind of upset and disconnected and from my own life or disconnected from certain relationships. You may have hurt some people along the way. You may have damaged some relationships, maybe not broken them, but maybe damaged them a little bit. And so this Knight of Cups, as you come to this realization of, oh my God, I've been living a lie, or there's been some dissonance in your life, whatever. Some of you might offer up apologies with the Knight of Cups. Again, revival energy is out here with the Judgment card as a possibility. So you might be texting or calling people that you haven't spoken to in weeks or months. And you might say, hey, you know, I was in a bad way, my friend. I was not myself. Can we talk? Can we get together? Let me make it up to you, da 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 da, right? So this Knight of Cups is you being really honest and earnest. I don't want to say heart on the sleeve because that's not what this is, but this is very humble in a way that you have not expressed openly or easily as of late, Gemini, or whoever I'm talking to. Again, it can go the other way. Wow. That's the other thing. You're going to have to be emotionally strong here because in some of your cases, you're going to get like a lot of flack, or you're going to get like flat out no's. You're going to get people rejecting you, okay? Because it's gone on too long, or the way in which you had a falling out, or the way in which you've been behaving, or the way in which people have interpreted. If this could also be down to other people's perception of what you've done. It's too far gone in some cases. You know, not everyone you reach out to or everybody you're trying to make amends with is going to say no, but there are some people who, when they hear from you, they're not into it. They don't want to hear from you at all. I don't know that you should be dissuaded from reaching out because I believe that creates good karma. I believe that changes energetic fields and vibrations and all that good stuff. So just to express it, I think is still important, but there is this energy of having to settle with or accept rejection and realize that, you know, sometimes we push past people's limits and we don't know it until it's too late, you know? And that's a lesson for whoever that's going to hit for. That's a lesson. I'm not saying that's a lesson like, haha, you know, now you know better. I'm not taunting you. I'm not trying to say like rub it in your face, but like, it's really going to be like oh damn. Like, I never expected it. Maybe you never expected it from the person who's going to be not so open to hearing from you. Maybe you always thought this person would be, you know, willing to talk, willing to communicate with you. But nope, they're not having it. Or you're not having it, however it goes. Anything else with this? Okay, thank you. That's the other thing. Okay, so the Knight of Cups, and you know, for those who are unfamiliar, this is a court card in tarot, right? We have pages, knights, queens, and kings. The knight is in transition, or all of the court cards are always interested in elevating up to the highest level, which is the king. The queen is her own master, but she also wants to have some of what the king has, right? But anyway, so this knight, I feel attached to what I was saying about learning lessons. Again, this bittersweet feeling of, well, at least they know how I feel. Like, there's a lesson in that. There's something to appreciate in that. Even though it's not the response that you wanted, you want to make amends, you want to be back in someone's good graces, or you want to be able to patch things up. But if someone's not going to reciprocate that energy and they're not open to it, there's something there about accepting it, and it makes you stronger, or facing that energy and kind of, you know, pondering over it, or whatever you're going to do. The Knight of Cups is going to help you ingest and digest that energy, ingest and digest that interaction that, you know, in some of your cases is just not going to go the way you had expected or hoped. Regardless of that particular case where you're not getting the response that you were hoping for from a person, beyond that, the Page and the Knight together, Gemini, it's positive movement forward. It's positive movement forward. You're developing. You have a Page and a Knight. The two lowest, quote unquote, lowest of the court cards. You have a lot of ground to cover, not going to lie, but there is a tenacity here. It's like slowly revving up, or it's like shifting into a higher gear, but it's doing it on a slow pace. Yes, thank you, because you have a monster to defeat. Lord, this is why we had to wait till the end. The Devil card, okay? Major Arcana for Capricorn. Some of you could be dealing with a Capricorn, but again, you know, it's a general and you might not be dealing with a Capricorn at all. So, big old monster to defeat, the Devil. Now, the Devil is not always a negative card, or does not always have a negative spin to it in tarot. All cards have negative and positives to it, okay? But what I'm feeling is habitual bad behavior, or habitual poor judgment, own worst enemy is a feeling that they're giving me. And in many of your cases, like I said, this is about self-development. This is about coming to grips with your own shortcomings, with your own not self-doubt. I don't think no, they're like, it's not self-esteem. If it is self-esteem, it's like one of those warped poor self-esteems where like you overcompensate, you know, like I said, you're like every day taking selfies, every day sharing positive affirmations, when inside it's like you're wrecked. Okay, so it's like that type of self-esteem where, you know, that's a form of depression, isn't it? Like where you don't show sadness, you don't show melancholy, you don't show that you're kind of blowing in the wind, like many of us, right? I think that's another form of depression, where it's just like you push yourself, you force yourself to be in a happier performative space, or performative headspace, I should say, in order to shield or hide, or, you know, give off the impression that no way am I sad, no way am I feeling uncomfortable right now, no way do I have social anxiety, look at me, I'm going out 3 nights a week, I'm partying with all my friends, you know. So it's something like that. This Devil is super complex. This is who you fight. And again, I think most of you are fighting yourselves. This Devil specifically is not as powerful as it seems. However, most of the time, to defeat it, or to wrestle with, or to face the Devil, you have to face your fears. And that in itself is scary, right? It's not complicated in the sense of you have to do 15 different things in order to even begin to try and get over what this represents. No, it's usually like 1 or 2 steps, and then you're basically ready to fight this thing, right? If this is about yourself, if this is about your own mental health, emotional health, the way that you socialize, the way that you know, treat people in relationships, or the way that you allow others to treat you in relationships, whatever we're talking about, you have to face that fear. Now, what do you have to do? First step, in my opinion, would be to realize what the Devil is. Have you done that? Many of you have. Step 2 is to get honest with yourself and start to admit it out loud. share it with other people. Now, again, I think some of you might need to be a little more cognizant of who and when and where you admit these things to, or you start to share your plans to change. You know, there's something here where there may have been like not the greatest bit of communication, or you may have, you know, hurt someone's feelings indirectly, because maybe your best friend wanted to help you, or has always been someone to help you, but you didn't go to them directly, and maybe they're like a little insulted. So there's like that caveat here, but I don't know if that has a huge impact. So admit to the self, or realize to the self, admit it publicly. And then the third step is start to make plans. We have said, or at least I've translated for you, I think you've done all that. This is why they made me come to this son of a bitch last. All you have to do now is face it. Do you have an addiction problem? Because that's also a part of the devil. Addictions, obsessions, compulsive behaviors or impulsive behaviors, right? A lot of fixated energy, or a lot of power dynamic and controlling aspects. You know, does a certain addiction have a hold over you? It doesn't have to be drugs and alcohol, it can be other things. You know, some of you love to work and you don't spend enough time with your family. Yeah. Some of you avoid work and you're addicted to laziness or escapism, you know, whatever. So the plan of attack, quote unquote, I don't know what you're going to do, but I can tell you, you don't want to do it, or not that you don't want to do it. You do want to do it. I think it's like to seriously take that jump, to seriously put one foot in front of the other, going towards the changes and you know, the pathway that you're setting for yourself. If you do have a true addiction, are you going to go to rehab or get into some type of recovery program? Or are you going to do it yourself? Are you going to go cold turkey and try to fix the situation yourself? Is the devil more in line with your top? See, I don't like to use that word, but it halfway came out of my mouth, so I'm going to use it because some of you use it. Is this devil a toxic relationship in your life? And I don't like to use it because I think it's, I find it to be a little touchy, because I don't want people, toxic is like heavy to me. That's why I don't use it. But for some of you, you might have a toxic relationship in your life. Now, if you do, who is the toxic component? Is it you? Is it the other person? If it's you, that's one thing. If it's the other person, and, you know, a lot of toxic relationships are also codependent relationships, yeah? So there's a lot to face. Look at the size of the mechanic devil and the size of the men that are feeding its fire. That's the other thing that's going on here. That's the other thing about the devil. The devil does not have power unless you give it to him, or give it to it, right? This again, look again. It's a mechanical thing that runs on what? Coal. Apparently, this devil can't feed itself. It can't shove the coal in its own fire pit. Those two guys at the bottom, they do it. So there's a mechanism, or not a mechanism, there's a system here where you or someone around you feeds this energy. If you stop feeding the energy, you cut it off, like I said, in terms of the addiction, go cold turkey, enter a program, go to counseling, do whatever, we then begin to disempower the devil energy. I think you have laid the groundwork, Gemini. You have the playbook in hand, friend. Go ahead out there and make the play. Some of you are hesitant. Some of you are scared. Some of you are unsure, or because you're seeing it's starting to change your life already. It's starting to give you a little bit of blowback from other people already. You're kind of like, oh, let me just stay safe. Or you yourself, you're panicking. Why would I do this? Again, because you're not happy. That's why you would do it. But some of you are thinking, I can just continue faking it. I can just continue putting a smile on my face. I don't need other people to know that this is... Don't go back. I'll say that. Don't backtrack, Gemini. Keep moving forward, okay? Outcome, Gemini, for February is the 10 of Wands. I'm sorry about the focus tonight. I don't know what's different in here because the setup is damn near the same every time I do these videos. Anyway, 10 of Wands. So the burden, my friend, is here. The weight of the situation is here. You will carry it for a little while longer. This is not no overnight, you know, Mr. Fix-It, Ms. Fix-It, you know, 24-hour service repair kind of thing. No, this is a long-term, or has been. Some of you are, very few of you are actually wrapping this up. I'm going to say that. Very few Geminis are at the end of this trek. I think the bulk of you have just begun, and I think an even smaller group is like a little further down the line. Regardless, the weight has been heavy. The burden has been humongous, okay? And it's been a solo journey. It's been something that you've done possibly in secret, possibly, you know, under smoke, not smoke and mirrors, but under, like in the shadows. Like, maybe some of you have been, you know, seeking help without actually telling anybody what you're doing. Oh, that's another thing. Because remember I said, like some of you, this is just to kind of lighten it a little bit. But remember I said some of you might want to go back to school. Maybe some of you are taking night classes, taking online. I don't know where that accent came from. Online classes. You know, and you've been doing it on the hush. You've been doing it very quietly. If you hate your job, it stresses you out, even though I remember that message at some point in one of those readings back in 2019. I'm like, you love your job. I think it was for Gemini. You love your job to death and it pays you a boatload of money, but you hate your job. Yeah, you hate your job, but it pays you a boatload of money. And maybe some of you have been secretly, you know, trying to find a new job. You know, there's something here about in the job sector specifically, and I'm sorry to mention this, you know, very late, but there's something here in the job sector for some of you where loyalty is like prized above everything else. And so if anybody catches wind that you are thinking of leaving, that would go badly for you. So that's why there's like this secrecy and this like shouldering a burden and being quietly woken up to how unhappy you are in this job, and how pressed upon you feel with the devil energy, how controlled you feel, not able to express your own opinions about something. Maybe some of you are like under contract, or you have NDAs on you in your line of work, and you want to say something, you want to, you know, shake the boat a little bit, but if you did, you'd be sued, and, you know, this corporation could clean you out in 2 seconds. So something like that is here for someone. But anyway, so as the outcome, the 10 of Wands, the work has just begun. And a lot of readers will tell you, oh, and I would too. I've said it before too. The 10s are culmination points. I think in a certain way, like this is like the last mile or the last leg of the marathon for you, Gemini. So in that way, it is wrapping up, but it's not any easier. I mean, maybe it is for some of you hearing that. Like, oh, I've only got like 10 more miles to go out of like my 150-mile journey. Great. Others of you are like, 10 more miles? Fuck this. And you just want to stop, yeah? So in that way, a 10 is 10 of Wands, and you do have the 10 of Cups there too. We'll talk about in a second. 10s are culmination points, but I'm telling you, this burden for you is going to ripple on a little longer. Even if you're in that last leg of your marathon, okay? Even if few Geminis who have been on this changing trajectory in your life, even if you've been doing that for the past couple of weeks or months, right? It's still going to like sit with you for a while. Maybe in reflection, maybe, you know, that's the other thing. Have you ever done that like after a workout? Which I don't do many of, by the way. But after a workout, like you can still feel like your muscles are still like tense and your body is still reacting, especially like a day or two after, if you've done like weights or something, your body is still like, oh my God, I'm in pain. It's like, we haven't lifted anything. We haven't done anything other than recover and drink a lot of muscle muscle recovery protein shakes and eat a lot of bananas. But your body is still like feeling this pain. And that's what this is like. It's like even after the thing is over, even after you start to make these changes in your life, you're still going to be sort of quote unquote plagued or reminded of or still familiar enough with all of the bullshit and all of the drama and all of the, you know, the weight and the heft of what you've been dealing with. It's still going to be there, okay? Overall energy, very interesting, is the 10 of Cups. Another 10, so 2 10s. Wow. For those where you're in like a romantic situation, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever you're doing, whoever you're connected with, in a romantic sense, I don't know. I'm getting like a bittersweet goodbye still. In some of your cases, not all. In some of your cases, I'm really getting like this bittersweet goodbye. Like, you know, this looks like, I mean, as oh God damn it. As much as that can look like, you know, two lovers having a wonderful day in the park together, I also get this sense of like, you ever watch like one of those like romantic comedies where the couple doesn't end up together and like they kind of have like this very like, you know, teary-eyed, you know, last dinner date, last walk in the park together holding hands, and like they both acknowledge this is the end of our relationship, but they end it like they want to end it like on good terms. So maybe that's what this is. In some of your cases, you might be ending a relationship on good terms, and that's nice. Better than bad terms, right? Wow. Yeah, that's coming through really strongly for at least one person. You're trying to not have bad blood between you and this person, whether it's a breakup, a divorce, a separation. You tried to rekindle something, but then, you know, it ends as soon as it begins kind of energy. That's interesting because I really, in this case, whoever I'm talking to, it does feel like you guys really do care about each other and you wish the best for each other, but it just won't work. Not right now. Something about the way your life is or the way their life is or the way you guys get along together could be, you know, that toxic relationship I was talking about. Yeah, it's just not. Nope. And that's weird because a 10 of, I mean, 10s, like I said, are about culmination points, but I rarely read the 10 of Cups as an ending. I often view it as, oh, look, a beginning, a happily ever after. Maybe that's what this is. Like, we're going to be happily ever after, but we're going to be divorced. We're going to co-parent these kids together, happily ever after, even though we're not married anymore, something like that. If it's not romance, and if you are happy in your relationship, if this is, you know, please, if I was more talking about your relationship with your parents, and then I suddenly start talking about a commitment in a marriage, please don't think, you know, you're getting divorced tomorrow. No. Apply it to the situation with your parents. Maybe that's the, you know, happily ever after, the bittersweet goodbye, okay? Where you might come to a realization, Gemini, that, you know, your parents or someone in your family is who they are and they're not going to change, or you have things on your plate that you need to change, and so you're just not suitable for each other right now, right? That's in general what I'm feeling with this 10 of Cups, is that there is a relationship or relationships or connections in your life where you or them or the pair of you are just not suitable to each other right now, and so we have to kind of go away, right? If it's not about relationships, I do feel that you have still, in many of your cases, Gemini, these personal goals, these like a turn in your life, a change in the rhythm of your life that you're hoping is going to give you that wish fulfillment, is going to give you that happily ever after. And you're worried about it because, again, it's very drastic. If this is about ending addictions or ending, you know, codependent behaviors, if this is about, you know, getting very truthful about your mental and your emotional wellness, and realizing that I've been perpetrating happiness when I've been desperately depressed on the inside, I think this is still for the second group I'm talking about, not about, you know, the copacetic endings. For those who you're moving towards this goal, you're moving towards this new road in your life, I feel there's like worry that it won't actually work out. There's worry that you'll drop the ball along the way. There's worry that your dreams are too big to sustain. And that's a bigger call than anything I could give you in a tarot reading, my friends. But that 10 of Cups, again, traditionally in tarot is very auspicious. It's usually very positive. I feel, again, your whole reading has been kind of middle of the road, Gemini, mixed bag. I think I said that at the top, right? Wow. All right, Gemini, that is your reading for February 2020. If you liked it, if you found something that resonated with you here, please leave a comment. Go ahead and like the video, share the video, and of course, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Gemini, I'll be back soon to do mid-February's. I'll probably do the no communication readings in February. I've had to push them off for several months now because I simply have not had the time, but I think I'm going to have the time in February, so be on the lookout for that, okay? All right, guys, I thank you so much for watching this video. Take care.